Hello, welcome back everyone. This is the task 2 for the pre-release for due in May June 2019, paper 2 variant 2, and for the code 0478 IGCSE Computer Science. This is in zone 4. You might have a different pre-release. Sorry for the long delay between task 1 and task 2. Task 2 and 3 should be uploaded fairly quickly now. I was actually stuck on something in task 2. So let's go through it and I'll show you the program. A buyer should be able to find an item and view the item number, description, and current highest bid. A buyer can then enter their buyer number and bid, which must be higher than any previously recorded bids. Every time a new bid is recorded, the number of bids for that item is increased by 1. Buyers can bid for an item many times and they can bid for many times. The last line means that they can bid as many times as they want on any item they want. So yeah, let's start with the program code. Now the first variable which we will be declaring is going to be current bid, and that variable will help us to store the current bid which is going on each item. Second variable is going to be buyer bid. Buyer bid means the bid the buyer will place. Then the third is going to be buyer number. Then it will hold the buyer's number, the buyer ID. Then the fourth variable is going to be continue bid. Now what this variable is going to do, it is going to decide if the buyer wants to continue bidding or not, and that can either be true or false. So that's why it's boolean. Buyer number is going to be integer, and that might change depending on how you use your program, but I think I have taken it as integer. The fifth variable is going to be excuse me, is going to be num check. Now this variable might sound confusing to you, but then all this variable is going to do, it's going to input the value the buyer will input. So for example, you ask which item would you like to bid on, and the buyer says item number 2411. Now this variable will just hold that value, item number 2411. That's it. The nym flag is integer, that's the last variable. And now this variable will just help us in validation in case the item number entered does not exist. For example, there are only 3 items. Well, there can't be 3 because the minimum number is 10, but for example, there are only 3 items and they have item number 1, 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3. For example, like the buyer inputs item number 6, 6. That doesn't exist. So you need to output a statement which says, no, this is wrong. So that's going to help us there. Now, because task 2 is building upon task 1, this is task 1. There is something which you need to do, and that is you need to declare these as arrays. So total items, and only 3 of these will be as arrays. And why these 3 aren't arrays, I'll tell you. Flag is just going to help us in validation, and you'll understand as you go through the program why it doesn't have to be an array. Item number check, this variable will keep changing depending on each buyer. So first buyer wants to bid on item number 1122. Third buyer, item number 6464. Item number buyer number 10, like I don't know, item number 106634. I don't know, something like that. Continue bid is just going to be true or false, and this will change depending on which buyer there is, obviously, again. So yeah, this is it for the valid declaration. So let's actually start with the program itself, the input statement. First of all, that is going to be console.writeLine, and that is going to say enter the item number for the item you want to bid on. Now that's quite straightforward. And then we're going to use this variable item num check equals to console.readLine, and that's going to input the value. Now that's just the input. Now it starts the proper program, and there's going to be for counter 1 to total items. Why I want total items? That is because we don't want that to happen for a certain number of times, and we want it to happen for exactly the same number of times as there are items. Ignore that. And next, okay. Excuse me. Yeah. So what we're going to write over here is the first statement is going to be an if statement. That's going to be if item number, okay, counter is equal to item num check, then execute the following, and that's an end if. It just automatically puts it there. Now if you go down and understand this, what this basically is, this is the item number check which has been input. So I run the program, asks me enter the item number, I write 220. Okay, so this item number is now 220. So for one total items, if item number counter, so the first item equal to 220, then if it equals, then all of this will execute. If it does not, it will drop out of the loop, go to the next counter, come here, does the second item meet this? So item number 2, does it match the 2? And this will keep happening for each item, because you need to perform a linear search. And I think this is the easiest way to do it. Actually this might not be the easiest way, but it's the simplest way. Like, anyone can do a linear search. I think it's not exactly a linear search function, but it is very similar to a simple search, and this is the best that I could come up with. Maybe there's much better methods out there. You guys should look for that, but this is just the best that I could come up with. So what the first thing is going to be, if this equals to that, we need to output a few things, and I can't be bothered to actually write them, so I'm just going to copy it. But don't just copy this code. I'll tell you why, because it's better to understand it than just copy the code. Now I'll explain what this is. This is the first statement, console.write item number is, because it says I output the item number, current bit, and the description of the item. That's done. Second one, console.write current bit of the item. Third line, console.write the item description, and this line is just means that the next statement will be in the next line. Sorry, write means in the same line, output all of them in the same line, and write line would be output the next thing in the next line. So it's very useful if you know how to use write line and write. Now the next statement is going to be to input the buyer ID. So how you're going to do that is you're going to write console dot write line, and you're going to write buyer number. Yep, buyer number, and you're going to write counter in the brackets because it's for each buyer number, and you're going to write console dot read line, and over here you can write anything like enter buyer ID or buyer number. I'm going to write buyer number. And now the second statement is going to be enter your bid, and then it's buyer number, just write buyer bid. That's it. And now do remember that these videos have to be concise and easy to understand. Mine might not be the best, but I will edit this, of course, when I'm actually going to give the exam. That's why I always explain the variables being used. Do keep an eye out, do look out for that. And then in task 2 it also states that the number of bids should be incremented by 1 if you read task 2. I can't be bothered to show the pre-release now. Wait, I might have it open. Maybe I do. Oh yeah, actually I do. So the buyer can enter the item number and bid, which must be higher than any previously recorded bids. Every time a new bid is recorded, the number of bids that for that items is increased by 1. So there's going to be a statement which is num bids counter equals to plus 1. Okay, that will increment the number of bids for that counter only. Now it says over here that a buyer can enter the buyer number and bid which must be higher than any previously recorded bids. Now how you're going to do that is using what I use is a while and while loop. So it's while and while, And inside this there's a few things that I put inside, and these things will validate that the current bid is not less than the bid entered. Meaning if the current bid is 80, I'm sorry, please forget what I said. I said the correct thing. It will ensure that the buyer bid is greater than the current bid. That's it. If the current bid is 80, the buyer entry cannot be 80 or less than 80. Yeah, it can be 81 or 80.05. I don't think that's exactly allowed, but they usually increment in auctions. They increment the values by like hundreds or tens or 20s. I don't exactly know, but that's something else. So while buyer bid less than equal to current bid, and then obviously over here you can write total items, and oh, just a minute. Okay, yeah, never mind. Sorry about that. I thought it wasn't recording. Total items. Okay. Then put copy, and you can paste that over there. So while the buyer bid is less than the current bid, which is an error, you will write console.writeLine bid entered bid entered cannot be lower or equal to current bid, and then like you can copy this, maybe write enter bid again. This is for the users, you know, like for their ease. Then buyer bid total items equals to console.readline. Okay, so that's fine, and that's it for the validation, just for the bid, not the validation if the item number does not exist. I spent like 3-4 days working that out. Once that's been done, we will need to write an if statement which will meet the condition, which will have a condition that the buyer bid has been entered correctly in the beginning. So if the current bid is 80 and the buyer understood the thing and like they entered like 100, so if that's occurred, so buyer bid greater than current bid, then we will just a minute. I actually have the program written on my phone, so I'm just copying it from here to there. Thought it would be quicker like this. Yeah, so current bid equals to buyer bid. What this means is that the current bid will then equal to the buyer bid. So the value of the buyer bid will go to the value of the current bid, and you'll have to declare these as an array as well. So not total items, but counter. So just copy that, paste it there, over there, and not there, over there, over there. That's it. Now we're mainly done with everything. Just one more thing is left, and that is going to be the continue bid and the flag, which is still left, and we'll do it in the we will do that in the end. Now we're going to write continue bid equals to console.readline, and what that means is that the value of this console.writeLine will be taken in. So we can ask the question, would you like to continue bidding? Please enter true or false, because it's boolean, so you know, just to make it clear for the user or buyer. You can elaborate on this and make it more clear stuff, whatever you want to do, but I think this is the easiest way to do this, especially with the boolean. Now this is your program, it's practically done. You have the for next counter, but you need just one more loop. That's going to be a do loop until, which is similar to a repeat until, but oh my god, this keeps happening. So loop until continue bid equals to false, and this entire thing, not this, this entire thing from let me just make sure. Okay, I don't want to type anything wrong here. That is going to be before the enter item ID. Yeah, so that's going to be there, and that's task 2. But there is one thing missing. If you remember what I said about the in case this value is not found, now we're going to use the flag, and this is the statement which we're going to input. So if flag equals to 0, then we're going to do the specific thing, and that's going to be console.writeLine, and that will just include one line, that is item does not exist. Now where does flag equal to 0 come from? Now you're going to go to your for, and before the for you can write flag equals to 0, but then after the if statement you're going to write flag equals to 1. That is your program done. But why do we do this? Now as you can see, this is inside the do loop. So every time loop until continuity equals false means that if the value is true, it will loop this entire thing. Okay, so it goes there. For example, the value is true, it goes to flag, and flag equals to 0. Now what's going to happen? The value of flag is going to be 0 each time this loop occurs, so that's quite simple. Now if this statement is true, flag equals to 1, and if flag equals to 1, there is nothing which we will do, so it's going to end if there. It's going to be a for next over there, and if the value is not incremented, that means that the number does not exist, so flag will remain 0 as over here. It's going to come here. If flag equals 0, console.writeLine, item does not exist. I think a very clever way, a very simple way, a very easy way of doing this is like this. And this is not my method, honestly. There's another guy at school, his name is also Ibrahim, and my teacher. They both helped me do this. This was so simple. It was just like 5 lines, and I couldn't do this for like 3 days. But this program works, and yeah, we can write on this program now. Wait, look, it says total items. That's incorrect. I'm so sorry. I hope that you guys spotted that earlier. It should be counter. I'm so sorry about that. Else this won't work. It's just going to take total items, and total items, if it's 10, yeah, so it's going to put the 10th item over here, and that won't work. And okay, now let's actually try it on this. So I'm going to enter 3 items, item IDs 3. Now we're going to test everything, hopefully without the program crashing, because then we have to restart everything. Okay, so the item number, first one, I'm going to enter incorrect item number 25. Okay, 22. Okay, that works, the flag thing, yeah. Now instead of entering true, you can enter 1 or any other number, it would be the same, and if you enter 0, it will be false. Enter the item number for the item you want to bid on. Now I'm going to enter 3, which is correct. Enter buyer number, bid. Ready to continue bidding. Enter item number 1, enter buyer number, bid, bidding. Yeah. Now let's try to enter the bid lower than that. So item number 1 again. So the current bid has been updated. Description is this. That's this. Enter buyer number. Anyone can bid, yeah. So any buyer number. So enter your bid. Now current bid on item is 3261. If I enter 250, which is obviously this, it should give me an error. So enter 2960, also an error. But if I enter 5,000, 50,000, it's accepted it, and I'll show you. So that's item number 1. So enter 1, item number 1, current bid 50,000. Enter buyer number, enter your bid, enter bid again. Okay, that's my bid. It's huge. I'm actually happy it didn't overflow. Okay, so, and would you like to continue bidding? True or false. So I'm gonna write 0 or false. I'm gonna start false. So even if I put 0, it should end the program. Yep, that is the program done. That is task 2. complete it. It's honestly not that difficult. I just couldn't understand a few things, that's why it took a lot of time. So these are the variables. I'll slowly scroll through so that you guys can copy the code if you want to. That's current bit counter, and there's the do statement, and then the ending statements. I mean the output and the statements near the end, and that is task 2 done. I will show you the pseudocode now. Yes. So this is the pseudocode for task 2. You can have a look at it. I don't think I have to explain this that much. And yeah, you can see that. Scroll slowly so you can see the entire code. And yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, so task 2 is complete. I don't think I'll be uploading anything related to task 2 anymore. This is task 2 completed. Now task 3 will be uploaded in a few hours, maybe, or a few days, I don't know. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. Don't copy the code, use it as a reference. And I wish you good luck. Yeah, that's the recording screen, and yeah, goodbye.